Your personal circumstances might look dire, the situation might be grim, but understand it's not just you. You're not alone. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. In today's video, I'm going to show you how on every single level we are building up. This is forming a perfect storm. And of course, we could sit here and we could wait for that storm to hit, or we can get prepared. We can take actions today that mitigate some of that damage. Of course, what happens when you're about to see that hurricane coming through? Do you simply just stare at it and look outside? No. You start to actually prepare and make the right decisions, okay? There's no difference when you look at the economy, when you look at the financial system. Now, the governments out there, are they going to take the appropriate action to help you? Of course not. Are they going to make wise decisions? Of course not. We have to do these things on our own as best we can. All right. We have limited resources and time and energy, but we can do a few things. I want to show you this. You can see that just 4% of the current retirees say that they are living the dream, according to this survey. And if I was to just stick my head in the sand and that's it, okay, well, obviously the problem is the older generation. The older generation, they do not have the funds. What do we have to do? We have to improve the cost of medical care. We have to get it to people cheaper. We have to get it to them free. That's the solution. Or is it? Because if I start to go around and look, there's a different story that's being told. Just one article after this, Gen Z sinks deeper into debt. So we have the people on one end of the spectrum and the other. So is it that we need to improve medical care and make sure that the older generations are taken care of? Or is it that we have to help the younger people so that they're not saddled with debt so that they can actually make it into retirement? Something's wrong here. Well, of course, if you have student loans today, you have a balance. In many cases, I've seen people paying $400 a month on average. That's an average, who knows what each individual is paying. But that, of course, is going to be $400 less that they're going to be able to put towards rent, towards food, energy, and their home. So you cannot get to a place. So what is it here? Is it the old people versus the young people? Should we make them do a tug of war and whoever wins gets the money? What about this? Think spaving can save you money? Think again. This is like spending money to save money. So like buy two, get one free. You know how they're trying to, a lot of companies do this. They try to get more sales out of people. Buy one, get one free, buy two, whatever it could be, in a way to, well, I'll spend, but I'm going to save. They're saying, hey, that might not be the best way to do it. A lot of things are trying to incentivize the customer to buy, right? Because we're trying to squeeze people. Now, this can be a good thing for in some cases. If it's something that I am going to use anyway, if I'm going to use it in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it might be, and it's not going to expire or something, well, that's okay. I can buy extra and I could save that money long term. So those are wise choices. You can't just think of today. You have to think of tomorrow in some cases. If we're always focused on today, our lives are going to be much worse, okay? When people do that, when people make those choices, they usually make bad food choices. They don't exercise. They take the elevator instead of the stairs. They aren't doing things that's going to make their life better longer term. So we need longer term planning. But we don't have the funds to buy, 25 years worth of something. No, we have to do what we can at this time. All right. So we can shop at the right places. We can do the right things in business as well. And that's, of course, it requires effort. There's no question. This is the CEO of IKEA. This is not rocket science, really. We lower our prices, in particular, when we are in times when people have less money in their pockets. The last 6 to 8 months definitely have been slower than we have ever seen. This is a March 2024 quote. The last 6 to 8 months have definitely been slower than we have ever seen. And this is coming from the CEO. So they don't want to tell that to the public because, of course, it's going to hit their stock. And that ultimately is going to it's going to reduce his income. That's how it works, right? But he's saying that because it's so obvious. It's obvious in the numbers. So you know that there's a problem here when a company that IKEA has, of course, the cheapest of the cheap stuff, but they also have actually a lot of very expensive products too, high quality products. And you can see that it's hitting people across the board. Dollar stores are feeling it. I mean, every store, I've shown you every store, something is going on. It's coming at all ranges of incomes. That's what I'm showing you here. I've shown you the older generation, the younger generation. Something is very wrong, right? How are the businesses reacting? Because a business is going to react to the customers. And then I'm constantly hearing about this. This is the M2 money supply. Think of this as the money that's out there, okay? The amount of cash that's just circling around. All right. Well, for years and years and years and years and years, this was just going up and up and up and up and up. Money in circulation was going up. And then in 2020, immediately it went berserk. And then it kept climbing rapidly at a pace that was much faster than anything we've seen before. Then we got to 2022. And of course, they started increasing interest rates. Things started to change. Stock market started to come down a little bit. And people started pointing out this is the beginning of the collapse. Deflation. We kept hearing that from a lot of the YouTubers. You got to understand something. Just like with the stock market, just like with any other financial market, look at the trend line and where we were before. This chart goes from like probably 2009 up until the present. It's on its course, and then it goes way off course. We are still way above that trend line. So, to see a little bit of a slowdown of normalization in that is not a concern. That's not a concern, okay? We just pumped in more money than we had ever seen in so long. 40% of all the money in circulation was pumped in a year and a half, I think it was. So to see it come down a little bit, that's not unhealthy. That's a good thing. So we'll see where it goes from here. And it's basically been going pretty much sideways for a year. That's not bad. I'm not freaking out about that. Okay? The other was Will, because great for clicks. Gavin Newsom is coming for your car, and he wants you to know it. They talked about presidential contenders carving out an underutilized lane, climate crusader, and basically what they want to do is, this connects in with, there's so many things. The vehicles, they want to limit how much you can drive. They want to tax you per mile driven. They want to be able to control where you go. They are instituting in Manhattan, they're putting a toll. If you want to go into the city center, one part of the city center, you have to pay, I think it's $18. Who does this affect? You got to understand this. Come into this in a circle here. Who does all of this impact? The rich people? Does it impact the rich people? Or does it impact the poor people and the middle class? Of course, it's the poor and the middle class who are getting hit by all of this. The richest of the rich people, they're good. They're all good. They're not going to have a problem. Even if you were to tax them 100% of their income, 100% of their income, and you take the top 50 billionaires and you just erase their entire portfolios and you take it and you bring it into the government, into the treasury, and you say, this is our money now. So you take all of Bezos' wealth, you take all of Musk's wealth, you just take it. You confiscate it. It would be like a drop in the bucket. A drop in a bucket compared to the hole that they have created, this black hole. Do you see what's happening here? This is Optimus being trained 24 hours a day during 3 human shifts. I don't know if this is legit or whatever. It doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to show you here is humanoid type robots are being built. They are going to do a lot of different tasks. It's going to start with the most simple of tasks, turning a knob. Then soon it's going to be, okay, lifting a brick. And then it's going to be the more complicated ones, over and over and over again, and a lot of human labor will no longer be required. How long that's going to take, I don't know, but I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of billion-dollar businesses that are working on doing it as fast as they possibly can. You see what's happening here? The owners of the company selling the robots, the companies fixing the robots, and ultimately companies that get to take advantage of that work, they are going to do just fine. But the people who have their labor replaced, they're going to have a problem. And when we look at the financial aspects, where does that leave us? Look at this. German business model was based on cheap energy from Russia, cheap subcontractors from Eastern Europe, and steadily growing exports to China. All of these are gone now. And you could see the industrial production going down and down and down as the years go on. Germany's not where it was before, and it cannot grow anymore. That's what happens to an economy, and the middle class goes down right in line with this. You have this billionaire predicting the weekly bank closures as the real estate sector battles high interest rates and inflation. Who is going to win in that circumstance? Oh, I know. And I know you know. Care to take a guess? It's the JP Morgans, it's the Goldman Sachs, it's the Bank of Americas. The biggest banks will start to take all of those little banks. They're going to take them under their wing. They're going to buy them for pennies on the dollar, and they're going to be doing just fine. But you have to put the squeeze on. You have to really tighten your grip. And that's what we're seeing right now today. It is extremely important that we understand at every single level. But if you don't piece all of these things together, you're never going to understand it. That's what I do here, but it's only those who can make it to the end of videos. But I know with shorts the way they are today, people can't. So this is interesting. Paul Volcker puts us into a terrible recession, and we got 20 years of prosperity because of the pain we took for 18 months. This is Stanley Druckenmiller. I've been saying this all along. You've heard me. I know you've heard me. If you've been on the channel for a while, I say this regularly. Look at what happened, and not even that. You look at in my book, my first book, I quoted, the whole scenario. In the history section, we talk about 1920, and in 1920 there was a depression, and it lasted into 1921. That's it, and then there was maximum growth after. They slashed federal spending. And basically, the growth was fantastic after that. They had the roaring 20s and so on. But just understand this. Yes, you have to face tough times, or you're going to face tougher times. That's the way it works. Nobody wants to deal with that. Everybody says, no, not now, not me. Make the other guy. The other guy, not me. You got to do things that you can. This is just an example. I'm not showing you this in particular, but there's jobs that you've got to do that you could do on the side, that you can use the skills that you have today. This is just showing different examples. The guy was saying here's some what they call boring businesses, which Cody Sanchez is known for. But you could see it here looking at like pressure washing, car detailing, window washing, home cleaning, landscaping, and so on. Okay. These are the things that we can do that don't take a degree in, programming and artificial intelligence and all that stuff. We just have to do what we can to be able to make up for some of the losses that we are going to inevitably experience. There's no question about it. This is going to become more difficult. Okay, it's going to become more difficult, and I'm here to tell you that. And it's not a simple solution of buy my course, click here, click there. Oh yeah, it's going to be so fantastic. That's not how it works. You have to put the time and the energy into this, and it could be coming from any level, I went into online business. I do e-commerce. I sell physical products. That's a whole different thing. You don't have to do that. If you're like, hey, I can do landscaping. That's something I've always been able to do in my own backyard, did a good job. Maybe I can start to do a few of those on the side. That's what you got to do. It could become a business, or it's just simply a skill that you have that's there as a backup. You could teach that to other people if you can. You can help them out. They can help you out. You could build your own garden. You could grow your own food. These are the things you have to do today. Just a few things. I've got playlists on my channel. If you want to know how to build your own online business, I have my Sunday Business Live. Sunday Business Live is where we go into all the details there of how to build an online business with a small group of people over Zoom. If you want the Finance Friday, that's a different scenario. All the information, link at the description, at the top of that description. Hopefully, I will see you tomorrow. Take care.